Hello students. Now before begin with today's topic, let us quickly answer a few questions. How do you come to know that a class is over in your school? Yes, you hear the sound of a school bell. You come to know that someone is at your door when he knocks, or you hear the sound of the doorbell. Now, can you see the slide where we can see such road sign usually? Yes, such road signs can be seen near your school and near hospitals. Now, what these signs indicate? It says no horn please or stop honking. So now can you able to tell me which lesson we are going to discuss today? Correct. It is sound. So the topic which we discuss today is sound. And sound is the form of energy and it will come from vibrations. These vibrations create sound waves which move through mediums such as air, water before reaching our ears. So we will able to understand from the lesson how sound waves comes from vibration and how our ears give us the ability to hear them. So the topics to be covered in this chapter are introduction, what produces sound, how do humans hear sounds in a medium, propagation of sound, characteristics and types of sound, musical instruments, reflection of sound, noise and noise pollution, and lastly, prevention of noise pollution. So what do you think? Are we going to discuss when we say sound? I don't really think that I am going to define what do you mean by sound. So let us quickly look at some of the examples which actually tells you that we hear a lot of sound around us every day, every time. In fact, right now, whatever I am talking and whatever I am speaking, you are able to hear it. Why? Because a sound is being produced. Now let's start with the next slide. Think of a marriage party or a band going out. They produce a lot of sound. I mean, they play a lot of instruments. You have the drums, the horns, and the bells. There are so many different types of instruments which are being played together. All are producing different sound. You talk about any sort of music or talk of musical instruments like a flute or a guitar or a sitar or a tabla or a dholak. So there are so many variety of musical instruments that all of them produce different types of sound. You think of a living organism like the bird, the chirping of the bird. Different birds produce different type of sound. You compare the sound produced by a crow with the sound produced by a cuckoo. So think of a very simple thing that is the bell, whether it is present in a temple or in a school premises. So the bell, it again produces a different type of sound. When we talk, we laugh, we sing. So in all these situations, a lot of sound is produced, which is heard by other person. Just look at this simple example. You take a rubber band or anything which is elastic in nature. Try to stretch it using both your hands and then leave it. What happens? It produces sound. Okay, Now, what are we going to discuss in the lesson is the internal structure of your ear, how ear helps to listen to different types of sound. The most important and basic question is what produces sound? How are these sound produced? I told you there are varieties of sound. First, let us try to understand what produces the basic sound. Whenever we talk about sound, we can think of at the first go is the musical instrument. So different musical instrument produces different types of sound. Primarily, sound is produced by vibration of objects. You might ask, what is vibration? So, vibration is a rapid to and fro or back and forth motion of an object. Now, what do you mean by to and fro motion? When an object moves from its mean position along with the particle of the medium, such motion is called vibration. Sound causes particles to move back and forth and produce the sensation of hearing. Sound is produced when an object in a medium moves back and forth from its mean position along with the particles of the medium. Such a motion is called vibration. Thus, sound is a form of vibration and a source of sound is a vibrating body in the medium. In other words, when a vibrating body disturbs the air around it, sound is produced. The air molecules around this vibrating body transmit these vibrations or sounds in all directions. This vibration of sound can be felt by placing a hand over a speaker that is playing music. Now, here in this slide, you can see a sound wave and how it moves. Sound is all about vibration. To make a sound, something has to vibrate, whether that's the string of a guitar, the larynx, voice box of a person, or the loudspeakers of your radio. Sound waves consist of vibrating particles which knock into other particles, causing those particles to vibrate and knock into more particles, and so on and so forth. This is how sound waves travel away from their source. We hear sounds because the vibrations in the air cause our eardrums to vibrate, and these vibrations are converted into nerve signals that are sent to our brains. Similarly, microphones detect vibrations in the air and convert them into electrical signals. When you imagine a sound wave, you might think of something that looks a bit like a water wave. However, this isn't really an accurate representation of a sound wave. The particles that vibrate as part of a sound wave move back and forth along the axis along which the sound wave is traveling. There are several methods of producing vibration. They are plucking, rubbing, blowing, striking. You can see the examples which are given for these four different methods, like guitar has wire which is fixed tightly between two ends, is plugged and produces sound. Violin produces sound by rubbing the string. Flute can be produced sound by blowing into holes of the tube. Drum is producing sound by striking or beating the membrane by another object. So, sound is produced by a vibrating body. When a tightly stretched band is plugged, it vibrates and produces sound. When it stops vibrating, it does not produce any sound. We see that vibrating objects produces sound. In some cases, the vibrations are easily visible to us, but in most cases, their amplitude is so small that we cannot see them. However, we can feel them. Now, let's quickly recap today's topic. Sound is a type of energy. Different objects produces different sound, irrespective of living or non-living things. Sound produced by the vibration of the object. Movement of object along with the particle of medium is in to and fro manner. Plucking, rubbing, blowing, striking are the methods for producing sound. Thank you and have a nice day.